As Kolon cries out desperately for his father, Gunko has a sudden flash of a forgotten past, and it seems she might have a deep connection to one of the Straw Hats. But what kind of connection? Could Brooke be the father of the Sacred Knight herself? Let's dive into this wild theory about Gunko's mysterious past, right after the intro. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the craziest theory about One Piece chapter 149. Before we get into it, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit that bell so you don't miss any uploads. Alright, let's jump in. The Elbaf arc is absolutely on fire, and one character has been stealing the spotlight since her very first appearance, and that's Gunko. Ever since she showed up alongside Shamrock back in chapter 1134, she's been unstoppable. She already wrecked Loki, took down 4 Straw Hats without breaking a sweat, and in chapter 1149, she might have straight up killed none other than Skapar Gubun. Yeah, I know. It's One Piece. People don't die that easily, but under normal circumstances, those 3 arrows in Gabon's chest would have been a death sentence. But Gabon's near-death moment sets off a major twist, a full-on memory flash for Gunko. Right after he falls off the cliff, Kolon starts screaming out for his dad. That moment, it triggers something in Gunko, and what do we see in that flashback? 2 parts. First, an older girl crying out desperately for her father. Second, a silhouette, a tall man with a black afro holding hands with a little girl saying his dream is to become a pirate, all while laughing his classic, "Oh!" Yeah. That's clearly Brooke. Not just because of the hair and the laugh, but because right after this, Gunko regains something. She snaps back to reality, sees Brooke, and tries to run toward him. But the moment is cut short, because the very next panel shows her being completely overtaken by Imu-sama. And this moment raises one hell of a question. Is Brooke actually Gunko's father? Let's break it down. Among all the Straw Hats, Brooke is the one with the least backstory revealed. We know he was the musician for the Rumbar Pirates, and we've seen his bond with Laboon. In chapter 442, it's mentioned he used to be the captain of a royal guard before becoming a pirate. So yeah, there's definitely a whole lot of unexplored history there. Could being Gunko's father be part of it? Well, here's my theory. Brooke isn't her father, he was her protector. Let me explain. I think Gunko was once a princess, and Brooke, back in his days as head of the Royal Guard, was assigned to watch over her. Not as a father figure after her real dad died, no, because is in the flashback when she screams father, she's already a grown woman. That's important. Also, there's a nuance in the language. Kolon calls out Tuchan, like daddy or pops, a sweet childlike term. Gunko, on the other hand, uses Oto-sama, a much more formal, noble way to say father. That gives us clues about her status and how she perceived her dad. Now back to Brooke. If he was her royal guard, the relationship between them would have been something like Igaram and Vivi, protector and princess. That's why when Gunko remembers, she doesn't call him father. She calls him Brooke. Which brings me to something fun. What if Igaram and Vivi were foreshadowing Gunko and Brooke? Maybe Brooke used to sing to her as a child. Maybe he was the one who told her stories about the New World, which could be why Gunko's favorite song is New World. What if he wrote that song for her? So what happened? Here's where it gets dark. I believe Gunko's kingdom was the site of one of the God Valley-style noble games, the brutal, elite blood sports carried out by the Celestial Dragons and the Holy Knights. That's where Brooke first learned of the Holy Knights, and in one of those games, her father might have been killed, just like Garling did to the king of God Valley. That's when everything changed. Gunko was possibly taken as a slave, but for some unknown reason, she ended up becoming the vessel for Imu-sama. Think back to when Imu confronted Cobra. He said the D's were empty shells. Maybe that's how Imu views humanity, just containers, which makes Gunko a literal vessel. So now we have this duality, Gunko, the original person, whose essence still lingers, and Imu-sama, whose will is dominating her body. That's why she still loves Brooke. That's why she still treasures New World, because a part of her is still alive in there, hidden beneath the surface. Even her eyes, they show 2 souls inside one body. All I'm saying is, Gunko isn't done. Not even close. She's already my favorite character in the Elbaf arc. But what about you? What's your theory on all this? Drop it down in the comments. And if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and ring the bell. See you next time, and thanks for watching.